And today we have to we say it's still money today, right? We're talking the new power tariffs, not the tariff itself. The tariffs are here. Power has increased, i.e., the cost of power has gone up. And as consumers and as folks that spend money, we want to find out how we can save money. How can we navigate the tariffs? So we're not really going to talk about the tariffs per se. We don't want to talk about band A, band B, and the policy around it. We are simply trying to see, hey, what is the technology out there that can allow me to save money for my family? Some numbers I've seen are scary. Like if you use your air conditioner for 5 hours, you spend 1,000 naira, 1,000 naira per night, just to use your air conditioner. So it's a lot. So I'm not an expert, but I thought it's been good if we bring in experts here that understand how they can give us alternative sources of power. That's what this space is all about. So it's good. I have an energy here. I have a few guys that want to bring them up. I know they're going to talk about around their solutions, and hopefully we can pick one or two from there. I also share their flyers and their call to action. So if you're interested in them after the space, you can reach back to them and then basically hear what they have to offer. That's essentially what we would like to do today. First of all, let me thank our kind sponsors who have agreed essentially to sponsor this space for us. So just a shout out to the guys at Market Intelligence NG. I use them. Essentially, if you want to trade in Nigeria, they give you actionable data, sentiment analysis and all that. You subscribe, you get the information, allows you to trade more informed. So I also share that handle on the space as well on the TL, so you guys can basically also follow them. So let me start with my first guest. I've got three of them today. I'm going to start with my first guest. This is from Arnegi, spelled Arnegi. Arnegi, thanks for being on the space. If you guys want to unmute, just unmute and we can start the space. Thank you so much.
Hi, good evening, everybody. Thank you for having us here tonight. So my name is Joshua, and I'm representing from Arnegi, and also I'll be having one of our C-class executives who is speaking. His name is Peter Okay, and I believe that he's already on.
I see him. Yeah, I see him. So I'm sending him an invite already. Yes, he was requested. I'm going to add him. So both of you are on point now. Yep. There we go. All right, so Energy, welcome to the space. I mean, the folks that are tuned in here, we're not power experts. We don't know what megawatts is. I don't know what the difference is and all that. What I want to know really is how I can save money. But let's just start with just give us an intro about your company. Who are you guys? How did you guys get into power? Let's sort of know you, then we can kick it off. Go ahead, sir.
All right, thank you. I would allow Mr. Peter Okay to take it up from here. Energy is a renewable energy company where we deal in clean energy, and we look and hope to enhance the sustainability and reliability of electricity, of energy within homes and businesses. And further on that, I would like to hand over to the representative from the organization who has been prepared to take off from here.
Sure.
That is fine.
All right, Peter.
So, Peter, okay, please, you have the floor.
Peter, you're muted if you can hear me. All right, so while we wait for Peter to okay, Peter has dropped off. So Peter has dropped off. I'm going to add him again. So let me just make sure he's back in there. He can speak now. Peter, go ahead.
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead, sir. Shoot.
Oh, finally. Sorry about that. Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me now?
Yes, go ahead.
Good evening, Kalu. Thank you for having us and giving us this platform to interact. Good evening, everyone. Pleasure to be here. My name is Peter Okay. I'm speaking on behalf of Energy Solar Limited. Thank you.
All right. So, I mean, we just understand that. Just give us your journey. Maybe introduce the company, then we'll go into the power story real quick. Who are you guys? What you guys do? Go ahead.
All right, thank you. So Energy Solar Limited. Please just confirm if you can still hear me.
I can hear you.
It's echoing a lot here. All right.
I can hear you.
I'll just power through. So, yes, Energy Solar Limited is an alternative renewable energy company. We've been around for 10 years now in the market, really coming in when the solar space was still at infancy, or solar as a solution was still at infancy, particularly, in this part of the world. And over time, we sort of like have played in different spaces, from powering mini grids to providing alternative power sources to residential homes and offices. So energy today powers, residential homes from your, apartments, be homes to standalone houses, as well as also providing power to SMEs, offices, as well as, industrial complex. So that's energy today.
Gotcha. Welcome. So let's just get into it, right? You've seen the power tariffs. In simple and short terms, they're expensive for most Nigerians. We earn minimum wage 30,000 naira. Like I said, I saw an article yesterday. Someone said to use the air conditioner for one night, you're going to pay almost 1,000 naira. How can energy fix this for me? If I have a house in Kano or Lagos, what can you guys do to reduce my bill? That's what I want to know, really.
All right, great. So, as you're aware, Kalu, we have different apartment types, and the power consumption of homes differ significantly, right? So, what we have done is we have standardized our solutions to fit different apartment types. So, a typical two-bedroom apartment, we have a 3 kilowatt system that would typically power, a two-bedroom apartment for an household that is conservative in their consumption. While for a 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom apartment, we have, people using between 5 kilowatts to 10 kilowatt systems to power their apartments, right? Again, just to explain how this works, I think Nigeria, a lot of us understand generating sets, and, a simple way to compare this would be to say that a typical generating set that powers a two-bedroom apartment, would be giving you between 3 to 5 kilowatts apartment of energy. So that we have a solution that basically matches that generating set in terms of capacity. Whilst when you sort of like upscale that to, your diesel generator, those that typically power larger facilities, so we have a bigger system, which is a 10 kilowatt system that can sort of like, power 4-bedroom apartments, a terrace building, and the...
Oh, he dropped off. I was enjoying what he was. Peter, if you can hear me, I can hear you. Peter, yeah, go ahead.
Hi, can you please confirm if you can hear me?
Yes, you dropped off a bit. Let's just very, very clear. Just so people follow, right? I have a 4.5 kVA generator. What is that if I convert it to like what you're saying? Like a 4.5 kVA generator, what would that be if I convert it?
Great, thank you. So, if 4.5, that would convert easily to our 5 kVA system.
Oh, gotcha.
And we currently have, variations of that 5 kVA system in our, product. Now, the major differentiation that we typically have with our products is the amount of battery storage that we layer on top of the system. And again, for people who are not very familiar with solar, what you typically have is you have panels on your roof that basically provide energy from the sun, right? And when you generate this energy, it typically powers the load that is put on in your house at the time when that PV is generating energy from the sun. And then whatever excess power you're generating that you're not consuming can be stored in a battery for night consumption, right? So typically, yes, we would give you an inverter that matches the size of this generating capacity that you mentioned. So the closest in our product bouquet to what you have mentioned will be a 5 kVA inverter. Now that means that in terms of the load that you're able to put on that generating set, you would be able to replicate that same amount of load on a 5 kVA inverter. Now, what the panels do for you, which is to a unit of kilowatts hour peak, they basically generate energy. So you will have as many panels as possible and build up as much generation from the sun as possible. But know fully well that no matter how much you scale up your panels on your roof, the only load your house can power up at a time is to the capacity of your inverter.
Okay.
So what you can compare side to side with your generating set is the inverter capacity.
Okay. I got that point.
Right. So if we have to go away from this call with anything, your generating set in terms of size, you can match that to the inverter capacity, which is what determines if you can put on your AC or not.
Okay.
If you can put on your fridge, freezer, and inverter, and the microwave. It's basically dependent on the size of your inverter.
Okay. So quick question.
The panels. Okay, go
quick question. Can the panels generate power if there's no sunlight? Like if there's no sun, there's just light. Does it still generate power?
Say that again, please.
If there's no sun, but there's power, but there's just light, can it still generate electricity? If there's no sunlight per se, it's like maybe cloud. Can it generate power?
Yeah. So the efficiency will be very, very low, right? That's the reality of it, right? So for example, if anyone is in Lagos now, it's evening time, the generation will be very, very low. However, you have the option of always having sufficient generation to ensure that whilst you are consuming, you could still have sufficient to store in your battery. And the beauty of certain systems that are sophisticated is the visibility that you're able to get. So typically when I had a generator maybe 15 years back, I could never see, data on the generator real time. I just know that when the fuel finishes in the generator, I need to top up, right? At best, maybe I could see the gauge of the fuel, but with this, the beauty of it is that you can monitor your consumption, you can monitor your generation, and you can monitor how far your battery has charged. And then also, that can also give you clear ideas on how much battery life your battery has in terms of consumption at the second load you are currently powering in your house. So what that means is that the same way we use our iPhones and Android phones, where we look at our battery and we know that, okay, we have 60% of charge on our batteries, and this will probably suffice to go without charge for the next 6 hours because we understand the usage. Similarly, for the solar systems that we have in the market today, which are quite sophisticated, you're able to actually monitor real time. You know what happens when you reduce your consumption, and you see how many more hours you're able to consume for. And then you see that as you also increase your consumption, perhaps you turn on one AC or two ACs, it would also reduce the amount of hours you would be able to keep the system on for. So those are some of the things that customers tend to benefit, and how they also become more energy efficient because they have data to guide them. Okay, so let's get to the nuts and bolts of this, right? The new band A has increased the power cost up. How much is this inverter, and will it save me money? If I have to put a 5 kVA inverter all in, I live in whatever city in Lagos, how much would it cost me? First, let's start with how much would it cost me to get this whole system? So a 5 kVA inverter, and again, it's important to note that the inverter does not work in isolation, right? So you probably need to have a full installation done. But an inverter, again, if I give you the price, it may not be just get this inverter and it works, right? So I just thought to put that clarification. But if you want to know the price, again, it ranges depending on the sophistication of the inverter, right? There's several products in the market. Energy today does not sell an inverter in isolation. We typically sell, a fully integrated systems that comprise of panels, inverter, and batteries, right? In some exceptional cases, we could decide that because of the building type, we will just go for an inverter and a battery solution, which basically means it's a storage solution, but you're not generating energy. So you're probably storing power from your other energy sources so that you can, when you don't have power from other sources, you can utilize what you are storing in batteries. I don't know if that answers your question.
So yeah, I'm just trying to get the total cost. Like if I came to your office, I want to buy a 5 kVA, the whole package, the solar panel, the inverter, to just go and plug and play. How much did it cost me?
So what we have done, and I would answer your question, but just to give you a sense of how we are thinking about the market opportunity for customers, is we have ensured that first thing is we make sure that the lifespan of the solution that we bring to the market is long, so that customers get to benefit over a long period of time and can fix their energy costs for a very long period of time. What we've seen with inflation is that, power cost keeps rising, diesel costs keep rising. But with solar, the real beauty of it is that when you make that investment today, the maintenance fee is very minute, almost insignificant, but you can enjoy it for as many as 10 years. So what we have done is that we have two product types. We have the product type that, on both product types, we can guarantee you that you would enjoy these assets for a very long period of time. We have one where we give you a 5-year warranty, and we have another product where we give you a 10-year warranty. What that means is that any product failure would be completely managed by the company. As you would imagine, the prices range depending on the length of guarantee that we're able to provide.
I hear you.
Also, what we've done is that we've been sensitive to the market and ensured that our pricing, we give different options and variations to customers for utilities. So even for a 5 kVA system, we have 3 product categories. We have a product that you would get for typically around 4.6 million. And we have another product at 9 million, and we have another product at 13 million. All of these different products is just meet the customers at different entry points. And what we've also done to make it easy for customers to access is that we have partnered with several commercial banks where they're able to give competitive interest rates to allow customers pay over a 1-year or 3-year period. So even though yes, the prices may sound like it's in the millions, but there are customers today who are benefiting from our partnership with the banks that allow them pay, between 150,000 a month to 300,000 naira a month over a period of time. They're able to pay and completely come into full ownership of those assets.
Okay.
Of course, the banks require that they make an upfront payment.
Okay, just to be clear, right? So what's the difference between the 4.5, is the 4.5 and the 9 million one? What is the core difference? Is it the warranty?
Yeah, very good point, sir. So the difference between the cheaper option is one, the warranties, right? So on the cheapest option we have, the warranties are shorter. Also, in terms of the look and feel of the product, the look of the product, right? The 9 million product, you can put it in your sitting room and it would be there. It looks very presentable, right? With the cheaper option, it's a discretionary thing. I wouldn't suggest people put that in their living room.
More like
so
the garage,
in terms
okay.
of the look and feel of the product, it looks different.
Gotcha.
But also in terms of the length of time that we also are able to support you and give you a full warranty on the product, it tends to be shorter.
And so the warranty, the aesthetics more or less determine this costing more or less. If
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And then you said it's going to be, the cost is give or take about 4 and 9. You have banks that are willing to step in and fund. Can you name those banks in case someone wants to take notes? Can you name them?
Yeah, great. So today we work with 4 banks, and we're signing more partnerships with other commercial banks. So today we work with FCMB, Access Bank, Sterling Bank, and Stanbic IBTC Bank. So if you have current account, you currently are an account holder with those banks, you can go to your account officer or come to Energy, and we would connect you to the right person in those banks to help you fully set up. So typically the process is that you get an invoice from us. once you've accepted the pricing of that invoice, we would connect it to the bank to go and get financing. And then once the bank pays to us, we would come install the system for the customer.
Just like consumer finance. Okay. All right. So we've gotten the first question, which is the cost to Nigerians. So the second question is this: if I invest 4.5 or 9 million, am I saving money vis-a-vis this new band increase? Am I saving money?
Yes. So I think it's an obvious yes, right? And the reason is that we also do a computation of the levelized cost of electricity today, right? And we know what the levelized cost of our solution is, so we can compare our pricing per kilowatt hour to the pricing of the grid. And today, in the solar space, what we call it is grid parity, right? We would say that the pricing, based on the recent increase in the grid price, we have seen that our solution is at grid parity. Now, to explain the concept of grid parity, it basically means that when your alternative source of energy, typically renewables, comes to the same price of the grid or even cheaper. And today, we can tell you that, side by side, very objective, independent analysis shows that the pricing of our solution is now below the price of the band A. And one thing customers need to also understand is that one of the major drivers of the cost of solar to go upward is dollar, right? So because a lot of the pricing of the components are indexed to the dollar or are sourced offshore, if we have further devaluations in the naira in the future, the price of these solar systems will go up. Indeed, when we had a steep jump to about 1,006 in exchange rates, our prices were higher. But one thing we did as a company was that immediately we saw that there was more stability with FX, we're able to further crash our prices downwards again, just to make sure that the customers can access these products. But one thing customers need to be mindful of is that there is that relationship. So today, the entry point is cheap, and then if the naira slides again to the dollar, which we don't hope for, the price of solar would go up again. So now may be a very, very good time for customers to take advantage of it. And the beauty of it is that once you've made that investment, you fix your power costs. So if you come in and your per kilowatt hour on your solar solution, depending on the solution you get, is for 200, we can tell you that if you completely go off grid today at that price, if the tariff goes up, your pricing doesn't change. If dollar goes up, your pricing doesn't change because you have basically fixed your investment in power. And what we've seen with a lot of our customers who have used energy for the last 5 to 7 years, a lot of them are coming back to us to say, upgrade me, I want to go completely off grid. And what that means is that you are your independent power provider, right? You independently power your facility, your homes, your businesses, right? And we're seeing a lot of offices also take on this opportunity to say, you know what, I want to run my cyber cafe, my small kiosks completely off grid, right? So those are the opportunities that I think the customers can benefit from, and indeed the pricing is cheaper.
Let me just be very clear. So for band A, if I was on the national grid or I was on your solution is cheaper for me. Net. That's what it's. Okay, so
net today it's cheaper, right? But I also wanted to establish that because of the price point of the dollar today, that's why we're able to achieve that. So if customers take advantage of the dollar rates today, they come in cheaper. But the product is also indexed to the dollar. So sometimes if the naira slides to the dollar, that pricing might go up again. I just thought to put that out there. And also, I think everyone should be mindful that, these tariffs are, over time, all the bands would have cost-reflective tariffs. So now is still the right time, even for people in band B, which will be next to it, to sort of switch to a more sustainable and predictable cost of power.
So I heard you just say something now that because the dollar price is lower, it's an opportunity for people to invest at the quote-unquote lower dollar price, because the dollar goes back up, the price triggers on the exchange. I used to say that.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. You nailed that correctly, sir.
All right. So I think we've gotten the bulk of what we want to get from you. And if you guys want, if you guys don't mind, if you want to stay, hang on, Steve, let me. How long guys are maybe have questions to ask? They can ask a few questions. We can come back to you. I have two other guys that I also would like to speak. So if you hang in there, I'll take a few questions. I'll come back to some other folks, and then we'll see what happens. That's it, Mr. Stone. Mr. Stone Diamond, how are you, sir? Do you have a question?
Good evening.
How are you doing, sir?
Hello, good evening.
Yes, I can hear you. Please go ahead with your question, sir.
No, not a question. I actually came to what you were saying. So I wanted to say that it's really actually a good investment. I think everyone that is having doubts about should just open up and just go for it.
All right.
It's actually the future. It's actually the future, and it's a very, very, very nice investment because we also run similar stuff. And when I went to my colleague there, giving those analysis, I was just smiling because really put everything down and put it down. I'm just advising everyone that having in mind to do this.
All right, Mr. All right, so I got you. Good point. Let's get Niger Native. Niger Native, go ahead, sir. How are you doing, sir? Please go ahead, real quick.
Okay. One thing I want to ask energy, like you mentioned, there is 3 kilowatts in data, which is like a 3 kilowatts generator. But there is this option: if you put 1 liter of petrol to your 3 kilowatt generator, maybe it might last for 45 minutes. If you put 10 liters, probably it can last for 8 hours of giving you power. So now, when you use 3 kilowatt inverter, that is only telling us how quickly you are dissipating the power. But it has not told you how long that power will last. And how long it will last depends on what we call the battery bank, the number of batteries you have, the size of battery, and the energy density. The electricity we call it kilowatts hour. That's the way it's priced by our power, our utility companies. So what I want to ask is, I want to know, number one is, for this kilowatt hour, what battery capacity is he looking at in kilowatt hour? What is the battery capacity? And again, how much it is? What kind of batteries do you use? Is it the deep cycle lead acid batteries, or the lithium ion phosphorus? Because these things has cost implications, and some of them last long. If you're using lead acid, it has a limited number of years it will last before it becomes useless. If you use another one, the lithium, it stays longer. So we want to know what is the cost implication, which ones does it have, what is the cost implication, and thirdly, at what point are you going to start reaping from your investments?
Okay,
let me say, for example.
No, hold up. Let him answer. Let him answer. Okay, let him answer the question. So number one, I heard you talk about how long the batteries will last. Number two, I heard you talk about what type of batteries. And number three, you are talking about the break-even point. If I invest 4.5 or 9 million, when do I break even? So let me get him to answer. Peter, those are great questions. I mean, number one, like he said, what kind of battery, when do you break even? And go ahead. And what can I put on there? Can I put an air conditioner on this setup you have? And how long will it last me to have an air conditioner?
Great. So thank you. Thanks for the question. Very, very insightful. Again, I think the way I hear the first and second question is very similar. So the answer is that today our solutions, we use lithium-ion batteries, right? This is the latest battery technology and what I would consider the one that gives the longest lifespan, like you rightly said. It's the same batteries that we have in our iPhones, and the same batteries you have in an electric vehicle, right? The beauty of the lithium batteries is that you can get to 100% discharge from your batteries, as against the lead acid batteries where you can only get 50% discharge. What that means basically is that you can use the battery from full charge to 0%, just the same way our phone batteries work. Also, another beautiful thing about it is that, unlike the lead acid batteries that have, 2 to 4 year lifespan, these batteries can serve you for longer than 10 years. And this is also why we're able to give you product assurance for 5 to 10 years. And this is largely because of the type of solutions that we use. And we don't just do that with our batteries. We also use, top tier, panels that can give you a 25-year lifespan. And then we also, give you our own inverters, which we also give those same warranties to cover. In terms of the payback period on your investment, I think it largely depends on what you're comparing this to, right? So if you take the grid price point today of the batch A, right, the payback period tends to be way shorter, right? We're looking at, depending on your consumption, it could be between 2 to 3 years, you're getting full payback period. And for the bands, for those that are still on the old band, which is the old pricing, the payback period tends to be between 5 to 6 years, where you would definitely have, saved more money than the total investments that you have put in. But also, let's be mindful that this is assuming that you are consuming 24-hour supply from the grid, which we all know that even on the band A today, they are not guaranteeing you 24 hours. So when you take that pricing, if you start to factor in the fact that, it's not like people use only grid independently in Nigeria today. Most people are doing petrol generators and grid. Some people are doing diesel generators and grid. So depending on your current power bill, the payback period tends to be a lot shorter, depending on how high your power bill is. So a good way to look at it is calculate the cost of having 24 hours power in your house today from alternative sources. Means perhaps you're getting up to 10 hours from the grid, right? And you know how much your bill comes to at the end of the month. What that means is that the balance hours that you need to run your office or house for, let's say the balance hours is indeed 14 hours, and you power your house with diesel or with petrol for the balance 14 hours. When you take that cost and multiply it by the number of days in the month, right, you can use that to divide the cost of the solution you're buying. That will determine your payback period. So in a sense, you can say that your payback period could be shorter than a year if you're going off grid completely.
Interesting.
I hope you have a sense.
Yeah, so you've answered the battery type, the payback type. I think you've answered most of his questions. Okay, if you guys hang on there, let me I want to bring in a different track, Peter. I want to bring in a guy that is just doing. You guys are the quotes unquote. Peter, I'm going to mute you if you don't mind. Just okay. So, Peter, you guys are a quote-unquote big company, more or less, if you mind me using that word. I want to bring in a guy that is doing this on his own, maybe has a smaller footprint, also to give us his own perspective, so that folks listening also get a second perspective. So, and energy, types of information, I want you guys to please hang on. I want to bring in Promise Okon. He sent me a link. And again, guys, what we're doing today is to give information out on where you can go and get various types of options. You can connect to the grid, you can do the alternatives and all that. If you're an alternative power provider, as long as you can put on your flyer or make a promise that you'll give a discount, or you can show me savings and you send me your material, I will retweet it, no cost to you, send it to me. I know a guy sent me something over the weekend about a competition. You do a video and you win an inverter. I will tweet it after the show. If you have an alternative to high grade prices, or you want to offer a discount and you want me to share that information, send to my DM. I will share on your behalf. I want to bring in Promise. I don't know if you can hear me. You can unmute. I'll just go ahead and do a brief introduction, and then we'll just get your own perspective on what you are offering to the markets side. So, Promise, can you unmute, please?
Yeah, good evening, everyone.
Okay, Promise, go ahead and introduce yourself and all that.
to go on the team lead for Prolific Solar. So we are a smaller solar company, or like Canada, they're very big, but we are like small, like a one-man business. So Mr. Peter has spoken very well about the lithium battery and the other type of battery we have. So what I noticed in this solar is that most clients actually don't know what they want. They are not like energy efficient. They tend to waste. Sometimes when someone like, let's say, like is buying from is vending like, let's say, 5,000 naira and is using it for like two months or 1 month, and another is using it for like 1 week. So it goes back to the fact that the one that is using the 5,000 for 1 week is wasting. Let's say, for instance, now I'm not around, I'm leaving my AC on. Everything is going to be related. One increase, my unit goes down. So we are not, how do I call it, energy efficient. We don't take it, like we tend to waste this energy because we believe that it's from the government and it is free. But actually, we are actually paying for it.
Okay.
So the alternative now, which is the solar. Before the solar system package can be given to a client, we have to know what we are consuming, how many kilowatts we are consuming. We just go and say, okay, just go to the house and just say, this house is like a 2-bedroom flat, let's give you 2.5 kV. Actually, give 2.5 kV system, at the end, it will power the house because they tend to have more loads. They tend to have more loads. The system actually shut down.
Okay.
So what we do, one, we go to the customer house, we do an energy audit, what and what you are using. So once we get the energy audit of what and what I use, so we now size the inverter to the battery size and the number of panels we want. Now, as Mr. Oka said, we have lithium battery, we have lead acid, and we have the other type of battery. Now, the lithium battery is more expensive than the lead acid because we have longer lifespan on it, longer warranty on it. Like the lead acid, lithium acid will give you 10 years warranty. While the average lead acid will give you between 2 to 5 years, depending on your usage.
Okay.
Because we have.
So let me ask you directly, right? Just directly. So if I came to you, have a whatever flat or house, I just want to have power in my house. I know the free AC, all those things, but I have a 4.5 kVA generator. I'm on band A. So I use 4.5. I'm on band A. I have my usual fridge AC. What would be your package? What would it cost me? And what would be your advice to me? Just so that folks listening can get that from you and all that.
Yes, if you are on band A system, so it's going to be 5 kilowatts. 5 kilowatt system with a lithium battery or with a lead acid battery. So now this has different costs on it. If you are going for a lead acid battery, 5 kilowatt system, the 5 kilowatt hour battery system, which is lithium, that one is going to go for 7.5 million. So now it comes with the inverter 5 kilowatt, a lithium battery. Then the inverter is an hybrid inverter. That is doing an external charge controller. There's an embedded charge controller in it. The number of panels. So a 5 kilowatt system should be able to power your AC and your normal business appliances. Now, an inverter size, if you are loading an inverter, you shouldn't load it more than between 30 to 50%. Reason being, so that you have a longer lifespan on that inverter. Most inverters don't get easily damaged. You don't get damaged when you overload the system. Then it starts shutting down, and sometimes it gets burnt. So this system, they can stay for up to 5 to 10 years. That's if you're repairing it for once.
So what do you mean by overload? If I have a 4.5 kVA, if I load the inverter to 5 kVA, or is that overload? What's overload?
Okay, now this is overload. Let's say a 5 kilowatt inverter can take, let's say one inverter AC, take your TV, take other stuff. Now, let's say the load is like 2.5 kilowatts. Then by eventually, you are not around. Somebody come and decide to on all the fridge, put on all the AC at unless you have a 5 AC, or you decide because of energy efficiency, you decide to run one AC at a time. Somebody can maybe put on 4 ACs at once, put on all the lighting, put on a TV. Without doing, you are losing an alternative solution, which is the solar. So before you know, the inverter itself sense overload, start beeping, it can shut down. So once it's shut down, the person is not used to the system, it's like shut down, let back the system and put it on again, trying to force the system on. Before you know, the inverter can get burnt and won't come on again. So that is overloading. When you put more load that it can take, let's say 5 kilowatts, they are now using like 6 kilowatts of load. It's definitely short, and that's what they call overload.
Gotcha. So just the last question from it, right? So if I had to get my package from you, we've seen the package from Energy. We're not competing. We're not trying to compare. But we're going to say, if I were to get a package from you, you know, like you said, solar panels, inverter, control, and all that, what would that set you back on? And how do you also finance? They do a lot of working with the banks for consumer credit. How do you finance your guys? Do your guys have to pay you? Go ahead.
Okay, I partner with people. So they are the financing team which I partner. Let's say, for instance, a client comes and wants a 5 kilowatt system, but cannot fund it. So what we do, we contact people, telling people, okay, we have a client that wants to have this system, but cannot pay. So we have to make 30% upfront. After we've done a background check, checking your credit scores, I know that you're eligible for the system. So they give you a feedback that yes, this customer is eligible. Now the customer pays 30%, and the interest will be calculated on the balance after the 30% have deducted. That is, let's say the system is 100K, and you pay 30%, which is 30,000. It's left with 70,000. Now the interest will be calculated on the 70,000, not the full 100,000 which they give out, because you've paid 30% of it. So you are left with 70%, which will be the 70,000 naira. Now, so we have, mostly for companies, it's up to 1 year. The financing is up to 1 year. But for, let's say, individual, it's for 3 months. But when we check your credit scores and we see that we have a very strong credit scores, you can get up to 6 months, depending on the size of system that you're getting. Somebody getting a system of like, let's say 2 kilowatts, different from someone getting a system of like 10 kilowatts. So also the sizing of the system also come to play.
Okay. So, but what would be the cost if you could? What would be your own like upfront cost for this system if you could?
Okay. The interest that will be calculated is always between 5 to 50%.
Gotcha.
It's between 5 to 50% after your 30%. After you've paid your initial 30%.
So what is the total cost for your system, the whole thing? I don't know if I got that part. Did you mention the total cost?
Okay. For a 5 kilowatt system, it goes for 7.5 million, and there are also lower systems. Like there are some. I did a little analysis between the 1 kV system and the, let's say, all these are passed by the generator.
Yeah.
Which is like basically just give lighting, TV, and fan. So those ones, you have a 1 kVA system, from 1 kVA system to 10 kilowatt system, that's what you offer. So you can pick from those range. So the cheapest one, which is the 1 kilowatt system, goes for, let me check my list, that goes for 800,000. So it comes with a lead acid battery, tubular, a 1 kVA system, 4 pieces of 180 watt panels, 12 watt panel, then a 220 amps battery with a 1 kV inverter. So that is just for the smaller package.
That's how much? How much is that?
Yes, that is for 850.
850. Okay, gotcha.
850. Yes, 850.
Okay, got just for the lowest one. Okay, and then
the lowest one, yes, 1 kV.
What about the 5 kVA will be how much? The 5 kVA.
The 5 kVA will be 7.5.
7.5. Okay, that's what I already get. Okay.
Lithium battery, yes.
That's what I already get. I already get that other spectrum of the market. I mean, Energy has given you yours. That just gives the spectrum of the pricing, as it were. So, Promise, thank you so much. Mr. Peter, let me have you back in real quick before I go back to my last guest. So, Peter, is there any other solution apart from solar? Like everyone that I've talked to online and DM is mostly solar and all that. What about wind? What about maybe biofuels? What about methane? is there anything else that we can do in Lagos, for instance, or cities apart from solar? Peter, I'm not sure if you heard my question. Did you hear my question?
Yeah, I think I got part of it. So
I was just saying, is there any other option apart from solar?
Of course. I heard you. Thank you. So I think today, as we're all aware, there's several other renewable sources of energy, right, which you have carefully listed. However, the one that is commercially proven today is solar. And this is not just for Nigeria. This is for most emerging markets where we know that at scale, solar works. And indeed, solar can actually meet the energy demand of the world. And that's like data-driven and proven. So what we will see with other renewable sources is that over time, as innovation continues to improve, some of these other solutions will become more commercially viable. And by commercially viable, I mean that compared to the other pricing, the other energy sources, that the price would now be comparable, right? And by comparable, I mean that like the unit costs of providing the same amount of energy would be, in relative terms, similar. What we find is that with most of these, because again, the scale hasn't happened, there aren't a lot of players, building these components, in the mass market. So most of these prices tend to be more expensive. And what we find is that people who currently use these systems either use it for, aesthetic benefits, or also just to sort of like proof of concepts. Most of these projects tend to be more proof of concept to show that, they're exploring these new opportunities or new areas of power, but they are not at, scale for market operations today.
Interesting.
Now, in terms of alternatives, right, I think one major alternative, which is more utilized for mass housing projects like big estates, as well as commercial use, is CNG. So that's the gas turbine. So that's another opportunity that several very large, estates today in Lagos and other parts of Nigeria use, as well as industries, right, that are connected to the pipelines.
Gotcha. So I'm going to really come back to this manufacturing of the inverters, the solars. I want to have now a topic on that because we're talking about the commercials, the consumer side now. You've been on the pricing. We had Mr. Promise also give us the pricing, but I want to talk about the manufacturing, that side of the market now. So Peter, I'm going to come back to you, but let me get Mr. Caleb in here. I think he's the founder of Ace Core. So let's talk now about the manufacturing because, like Peter said, these things are priced in dollars. So if we're able to keep the dollar rate low, which we have no control over, or if we're able to manufacture locally, this might be loophole to keep these prices lower. So Caleb, I don't know if you're online. I mean, you're here. If you can unmute, do a quick intro, and then we can come to you. Mr. Caleb?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for you can hear me.
I can, sir. Please go ahead, sir. I can.
Awesome. Sorry for the background noise. So, so my name is Iwo Hachile, and I'm founder and the CEO of Eastport Incorporations. What we generally do at Eastport is we manufacture clean, reliable energy solutions for African homes and businesses. So, we just very, very adept on what energy is doing. I don't really know how much of indigenous manufacturing energy is doing, but then on our own part, we indigenously manufacture everything from scratch. Every component of the system is manufactured indigenously by us, specifically aside from the battery cells that we use for battery packs. So, that's the great thing about.
Okay, so let's go there. But again, let's just stick to yours, right? So let me just go. So you said indigenous manufacturing 100%. So are you saying you make everything locally? The batteries are made in Nigeria from you, everything local, no?
Yeah, I said specifically aside the battery cells.
Okay.
They're not made by us locally. But then our boards, our transformers, different secretaries around the system are all in the national environment.
All made in Nigeria.
Yes, all made in Nigeria.
Where's your factory? Where do you guys manufacture this?
Of course, we don't make like the chips. I don't make you understand that we don't make like the chips and the resistors that are used in all this. So then we do the design and the general manufacturing. KC everything's manufactured in the house.
Gotcha. Where's your factory? If I may ask.
Okay, so our factory is at Port. Just a small area in Port. That's where we get from space.
Interesting.
Yeah, surprising. Yeah.
Okay, so let's just find out from you, right? Do you know how much an imported inverter will cost and how much yours will cost? What's the price difference between if I bring it in and if you make it here?
Okay, so just to give you a context, and a background information about that. So different imported inverters and their different capabilities or strengths, and different prices. So for the ones that we would say are on the same level as what we manufacture, so 5 kilowatt hour system with a 5 kilowatt power capacity inverter and say around 2,000 kilowatts in terms of total supply using the solar panels. In general, can cost around 5 to 6 million naira. But for us, we sell same in at 3.8 million naira. So that's the comparison.
So is it that you import the components and you assemble in Nigeria and you with Nigerian inputs as well, so the cost is able to come down?
Okay, what actually drives the cost down very well is the fact that we are able to get those components and do those manufacturing at the same quality by ourselves.
Gotcha.
So the major driver of the cost, both in terms of us and every other company, are the battery cells. And this is what we have been we've been working on tirelessly to figure out the way to break this barrier. Now the battery cells are very expensive, but luckily for us, recently they have begun mining commercially lithium from Nasarawa, and I and one of my partners are working to building a battery plant that will be doing the battery cells here in Nigeria. Like that would be like the first ever battery manufacturing plant in this part of the world, basically.
Interesting. And what's the name again? Just so I don't want to go into the finance part of this topic, but I want to really hit you guys on the finance part. If you're raising capital, if you're going to do a public offer, because it's very, very interesting to me that you want to manufacture batteries. There's a huge demand for that. That tells me this might be an elastic product that would need lots of funding. But I don't want to go finance yet. I want to really talk to you guys about the funding. So now I've had you speak. Let me get Mr. Peter. Mr. Peter, my question for you guys, what again, are you guys doing any backward integration for batteries? Because that seems to be the choke point, right? The battery cell.
Great point. I want to say well done to Caleb and his team. You guys are doing something incredibly important for our country. And even if it's just trying, the fact that you guys are taking on such a huge challenge is actually commendable. So well done to you guys, and we're all rooting for you. To speak to other players like Caleb's company.
Thank you very much. Very much.
Yeah, you're welcome. To speak to other local companies, just to do a shout out, there's another company called Oxano. Oxano manufactures panels locally. Energy has started to also buy panels locally from them. Just again to sort of like show support for local production. So obviously we'll be in touch with Caleb and also monitor his progress.
So Octagon, where how did they make that panel, Peter? Then where is it? What state are they making this panel?
So it's in Lagos. It's in the free trade zone.
Interesting.
So they have some good supporters. We have similar investors to them. So we obviously have, some level of business relationship. So yes, they are located in Lagos in the free trade zone, and they have quite a massive scale. The plant is very massive, and they also work on the right accreditation to sort of like ensure that in terms of standardization of their products, it can compete at a global scale, which is where we hope that our local manufacturing can get to. In terms of our business today, our strategic focus is, assembling these solutions, layering our own IoT device on top of it. So we have our battery management system and a remote monitoring functionality, which is developed locally by us, and we assemble our systems and take it to markets. So we are more, fully integrated to, provide the systems locally and also ensure that it gets to the end user, and also provide support to the end user. In terms of backward integration, maybe that's something we can look at in the future as our market gets more ripe for manufacturing. But I think that over time, we hope that Nigeria would get a lot of things right that would support local manufacturing. And those are areas that could be explored in the future. But today, we are fully integrated. We provide this OEM support today in Nigeria by assembling these components that are mostly sourced offshore, and to the extent that we can continuously increase the local content in our system. That is something that we are really, really striving for, and we're always following the market to see what is available locally, so that we can swap out the dollar spent on the product to ensure that we can sort of like make it more available and accessible to the customers. I think one benefit that, obviously comes from also having local production is that the lead time to getting all the inventory we need in our factory is much shorter, right? Which means that we are more capital efficient. So it's very, very good for the market, and we're hoping that more local manufacturers are able to, expand their operations to deliver, the batteries at the right quality, the inverters at the right qualities, and also the panels. And we also hope that, the market and the government does everything to support these companies to thrive and be around for the long term.
Very interesting, because when you were saying Lagos, I remember that I did a paper once on solar, and solar is basically this solar panels, the silica sand, and I know Katsina and Kaduna had this large silica and sand deposits. There's actually a solar manufacturing company in Abuja. I'm not sure if it was the government. I think the government set it up and then outsourced it to a private company to run. It's in Abuja. And they were making solar panels using the silica from Katsina and Abuja. I'm not sure where that company is. Do you know anything about that? Do you have Peter, have you heard about that before?
No, but we're happy to do more research. Perhaps if I had the...
Yeah, I'm looking for that. I know I wrote about that. I would get this name for you and send it to you. Yeah, they were. Yeah, I'll get it for you. But, let's just go back to what Caleb. For Caleb, for Peter, and also for Peter. Thanks for the shout out for the guys making the solar panels in here. So if we are, I hear you say something a dollar. So what I hear you say that if you guys can get these cells, the power cells, locally cheaper, either we're importing or we're subsidizing the import costs, then we could really scale up the use of solar panels, solar inverters in cities like Lagos, even in the rural areas. That would then drop the demand for grid power. Is that what I'm hearing? The government maybe brings out $500 million and funds the importation or manufacturing of those things locally. Local power drops.
I think one important thing is to ensure that we don't immediately start to I think the way way I would say it is, we definitely want to see this sector continue to grow. We have seen rapid growth in recent times, and we know that even with local manufacturing, it needs time. It needs time to develop. Just to ensure that we're having the right quality and we are also getting to the right scale to meet the demand. There is a likelihood that we would still need to always have access to, cheaper, sources of these components offshore. Just to give context, in America, they manufacture solar panels. In Canada, they manufacture solar panels. But for some reason, the panels that come to this part of the world come from China. And the major reason is because of the economics of scale that China is operating at, they're able to get the pricing to a price point where it's easy for markets like ours to absorb it, right? Yeah. If we were buying panels from America or from the European markets, the price point for in Naira terms would be, we won't be talking about grid parity, right? We won't be saying that it's comparable to grid price. So one thing is certain that without subsidies as well, it would take some time for Nigeria to get to the scale where the price point is comparable. And before we sort of start to ensure that local price points are the same as this sourcing this from China, I think that what is most important is that we solve our power problem first.
Gotcha.
Right? So if that means we continuously have to keep our markets open so that these products are coming in from the markets where they have the competitive advantage of producing and selling offshore based on maybe the support they already have from their government. I think that it's important that we first power our country adequately.
Interesting.
But over time, when the backward integration goes down to the lower inputs, the smaller inputs that make up these solutions. I think the point you made around the materials being sourced in Castina is a good example where you see that actually the material is also available locally, so we can over time build competitive advantage. Caleb used another good example of having lithium available in Nigeria, in Nasarawa State, and saying that if we build batteries because we have the lithium available, we have the deposit available in our country, over time we can build competitive advantage in those areas. So that's something that comes with scale. It comes, with a lot of, improvements in technological know-how. But I think that these are things that, experts in these spaces with hopefully more foreign direct investment, the know-how can be transferred to Nigeria, and maybe in the next decade, we would see a lot of these solutions be able to, compete price-wise. Now, I'm saying all of that to say that we have opportunities to source certain products offshore where they have competitive advantage today, and then we can continue to leverage that to ensure that Nigeria gets to the point where 24-hour power it's a given. It's available to anyone that wants to access some solutions.
Okay, so I found the article, Peter and Caleb. So this was the company. It was set up by NASENI, the NASENI. That's the National Agency for Science, Engineering, Infrastructure. So this company is 7.5 megawatt solar panel production plant. Its capacity is 21 megawatts. I know if that's what it means. The capacity is 21 megawatts. It was set up 10 years ago, back in 2013, in Karachi. It's in Karachi, Abuja, and they basically were making panels, solar panels. I think they then handed it over to a private sector guy. I'm really not sure. I can get more information, but this is the company I'm talking about. It's an NASENI-owned plant, set up in 2013. It's in Abuja, in Karachi. I will get more info, try to see if I can get the guys to speak. But Caleb, just want to ask you a question, just as we're rounding out now, right? What is your biggest cost in your factory in Port Harcourt? And what support do you think if the government came to you like a tooth fairy and says, what can we do for you to crush your prices by 50%? What would you answer? What's your biggest cost, and what do you think the government can do for you today to crush your prices by 50%? Kala, please go ahead.
Thank you very much for that really amazing question. Like, it's it might be a very easy answer, but I would like to take a different route. So I could easily tell you that my biggest cost is manufacturing equipment, like automated equipment. For instance, to manufacture a battery pack, a battery pack can contain those your power bank battery cells. So a battery pack can contain like about 1,000 those battery cells. So just to give you a context of what if one of our products is made of. By the way, our product is called the S1 Power Cell. It's an all-in-one device. That's your inverter, your battery, your charge controller, all in one. Just plug the system with the solar panel, and then it gives you energy. We also have a mobile app that allows you to optimize your energy over time, track and monitor your energy. We all built this in-house by ourselves. So back to your question, each of the power cells can contain like about 1,000 of those battery cells, right? Now you need a machine that can do this repeatedly over time, because human beings will definitely have error at some point. So now, so I could easily tell you that the machines are the parts that are very, very expensive. Like one of those machines can cost like $150,000 or $200,000. One of those machines, and that's just one. You have so many other things, equipment as well. But I will tell you the most expensive part for me, which is the value at which ISCO is built around. Now, for ISCO, one of our biggest values is the ability to think, our mindset. Now, all of the machines built at ISCO, we built them by ourselves, in-house. I mean, it's almost a shocker. And this is because we had the right team and the right persons that can think. Now, this is something that we lack very, very well in Africa and in Nigeria. We believe that we cannot go through certain limits, through certain engineering boundaries. We don't believe that we can actually build a vehicle that can compete with Tesla in Africa, because we feel like our minds are limited, like we feel like we don't know enough, which is totally wrong. The world, as a landscape, we are all on a race, a technological race. Some persons are more advanced than some persons. But something that my years of experience in engineering that has taught me about engineering, and this is also a
Caleb, I've teed up a great question for you, but it's a great question. Like, what do you need, and what is your biggest cost? You don't know who is listening, so I would just say, hey, my biggest cost is this, and this is what I need. I would say that real quick. You don't know who is listening. I hear what you're saying is valid. I want you to answer that question real quick, just to put it out there. Yeah.
Okay. So my biggest cost is actually equipment for the factory. But in reality, my biggest cost is actually talented individuals. Because talented individuals can build the machine that build the machine. We can build anything. We have done it at this point.
Gotcha. What's your biggest cost? Like when you look at your income statement and your expenditure, what's your biggest expense in your factory?
Getting the battery cells is one of the is almost the same as the equipment.
Is that like the import duty or the transportation? What is the specific cost when you say getting? What is that cost? Is it the cost of import or the cost of moving it, clearing? What's the cost?
Okay, what the cost of import, the cost of clearing, and the cost of transporting as well. Yeah, because for us to have the good economics of scale, we have to order those batteries like in bulk.
Okay.
To order them per you. Yeah, the cost will be higher than when we order them in bulk.
So question for you, right? If for instance, the Sovereign Wealth Fund, for instance, came to you and said, we're going to invest in your factory to expand it, but in the meantime, we're going to place a massive order for components, batteries, and we're going to customs will not charge you duty. It will come into Nigeria at no duty because we're going to use to generate power locally, which will then sort of give people like Promise. Promise is able to, I'm going to ask him, Promise, if you were getting batteries at half the price, would you be able to reduce your own price by 50%? If Caleb and Peter gave you a battery at a lower 50% price, does that translate to you taking your price down by 50%, Promise?
Yes, it's a win-win game for both.
So win-win, okay.
My component cheaper, we install cheaper.
Excellent. So we've gotten a guidance from you. So what we're saying now is that if there's a way that the government, because we don't manufacture these things at scale in Nigeria, if there's a way we can bring in solar panels, a way we can bring in these battery packs and tell the customs not to charge import duty. So it comes into Nigeria because we're going to use that input to make wealth in Nigeria. So there's no point customs charging duty. If you can pay the freight, it comes in, you can take it to your factory like Caleb is saying, and then he can make more locally manufactured batteries and cells. That would be a force multiplier, as they say, for the Nigerian economy. Caleb, am I on the right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So I mean, so you want? Yeah. Great. I just want to get that point across. Peter, you want to say something?
No, I just wanted to add to that point that the government indeed has programs like that already.
Okay.
So with customs, there's something called IDEC. I'm sure my friends in this space also know that. So when you're importing certain components like batteries, you can get a waiver, to ensure that you don't have to pay duties. I just thought to share that so that the benefit of the end users as well.
Just to be clear, so you are saying that if I'm importing those components, I don't pay duties in Nigerian customs.
Exactly. So you're able to apply. So whilst you have confirmed your shipments, you can also immediately apply to the government, to customs, for an IDEC, and that IDEC gives you waiver on duty for your shipment. So this could cover inverters and batteries. So just to say that the agency, rural electrification agency, is doing a lot to support the growth of the industry, and there's certain waivers already in place. So as we do more research, we can also ensure that we're getting the best prices so that we can transfer those benefits to end users.
Okay, and Peter, if you don't mind me asking a question, so if that is existing, why aren't people like Caleb, why aren't battery prices lower if we can bring in these things without paying customs? Why isn't everyone doing that?
So I think information is very important, which is why we're using this platform, and which is why we're very grateful to you for creating forums like this that will get industry players together. So information is important. Also, some of these are new developments. So sometimes it takes a while, for all of this to sort of like become mainstream. And it's a lot of these things also need time to go through the stages so that we perfect them and do it, at scale. So I think those are the things. But largely, I think that the country has been adjusting to the new rate of the dollar. The dollar wasn't what it was today. So immediately, some of these benefits started to come in. Were hit by a significant jump in the price of these equipment. A lot of the people in the space know that, and a solar installation costs less than half the price it is today. So the systems we're telling you are about 9 million today. Some of them were 3 million, in January of last year.
What?
So it's just to give you context that obviously as the devaluation impact hits the market, some of the value that's brought from tariff reduction or waivers where, it wasn't able, we're able to see the immediate impact of those savings, right? So I think that over time, as we adjust, we would see the benefits that are also, the government has done to sort of like support the industry.
Okay, so I'm going to just sort of close out the space, if you guys don't mind, with this question to all three of you. And I mean, again, I'm Caleb. Before I even ask that question, Caleb, were you aware of this import duty waiver thing for batteries? Were you aware of it, that it existed? Have you tried to use it?
No, I wasn't like I'm hearing you for the first time, and I really appreciate you on this.
Yeah. Okay, Peter, I beg, share that with me, please. Let me just broadcast it so in case there are other folks that want to do this, they can be aware of this, please. So just DM me or share to me, and I'll make sure I broadcast it. And again, yes, sir. And just to make the point again, this is a space we're trying to find solutions. You notice on this space we're not griping or saying the cost. No, we want to find solutions. Power has gone up, and what I read in the papers is that in the next 3 years, the band A pricing is going to be applied to band B, band C, and all that. So this band A is coming to you. So don't say, oh, Peter has said that band A is grade neutral and all that. It's coming to you. So if the dollar stays where it is or dollar goes up, the price is going to go up. So you are basically educating yourself now on how you can avoid that cost staring down the face. Even if grid power is available, this can be for your rural home or your village home or even for your business. You can move some equipment onto the inverter that you can have as emergency power whilst you operate. So this is not something that you say, it doesn't concern me. It will concern you one way or the other, right? So we're doing this space to get the information out there. I have learned a lot. I've tried to really, I want to just learn, and I've learned a lot from Peter, Promise, and Caleb coming here. But let me just sort of now go to the finance side of it, right? Peter, I saw you guys' picture with Bill Gates. He came to visit your factory. I want to talk about scaling, right? Are you guys, I'm going to start from Peter. Are you looking at for new investors? How are you guys funded? It's not the money part of it. Are you guys going to do an IPO? If you can, you don't have to say that, but what is the plan for you guys going forward? Are you going to list? There's a space for you in the NSC. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you. Thanks for mentioning that. So today, energy is supported and has been invested in by some of the investors of energy to pay include notable DFIs such as the Norwegian Development Finance Institution, which is Norfund. Also, we have EDFI as one of our investors, which is the European DFI. Like you mentioned, Breakthrough Energy Ventures, which is led by Bill Gates, is also one of the investors of energy today. And we also have Allon, which is a arm of Shell, that focuses on energy access. Is also an investor in energy. Again, we believe that there is a lot of capital flows in the climate space today, right? So I think from a private capital standpoint, the business has been heavily funded, and has been venture back over the last 5 years, right, which has assisted the business in growth, right? So again, we continue to leverage the capital available in the development space and in the impact investment space to continue to grow the efficacy of our solution to the market. And if in the future it warrants that we also bring this opportunity to the public to take ownership in the business and also to raise more capital, I think that in the future that's something that we could explore. But those are conversations that would happen much later. I think what you're likely to see more in the near term, medium to near term, is also maybe accessing the capital markets, so through commercial paper issuances, bond issuances, where investors can get to also participate in supporting the growth of companies like energy and the space as a whole.
So you're looking at maybe more of debt, but not equity. Did I get that right?
Yes, so the business is well funded in equity today. We have a solid capital base, and we continue to have investors that believe in the business and want to continue to back its growth. Okay. But yes, we would most likely be in the debt market.
Okay, but I'm not putting you on the spot, Peter. I'm not putting you on the spot. But I'm just saying that even if you guys did a listing on the market, not to raise funds, just like maybe in listening by introduction, that's also going to boost the Nigerian capital market. Of course, put you guys out there. So if it can just be a listing. I know the NGX has it's called the Growth Board. Just to be there. I'm not saying you should. I'm just saying that it's something you guys want to look at. So I will also expand and deepen the Nigerian capital market. But great work. Very impressed by what you guys are doing so far, sir.
Thank you so much, and thank you again for the opportunity.
All right, sir.
Appreciate it.
You're welcome, Mr. Caleb. Also, as well, I know you are more. You are really at this. Is it startup or construction stage? What's your plan? How are you funding? Are you going to raise funds from the capital market? Are you doing debt? What do you have in mind, sir?
Okay, thank you very much for that wonderful question. So, we have discussed our company from inception up until this time. So at this point, we're actually looking to scale because we have like a lot of orders coming in, majorly from real estate companies that have so many needs for our products. So we're actually really looking to scale. And we're also looking to leverage on digital manufacturing to enable us scale at the level we want to scale. So currently we're looking for funds. Yes, we are very much looking for funds. Where equity, debt funding, whatever we want to scale like yesterday actually.
Okay, so Caleb, I mean this is a different topic, but you've got to go. So you've got to go now and start to speak to an investment banker and start to package documentation. If you want to scale, you have to have the right paper and say this is what we are doing. These are our numbers. We want to get funding to do X, Y, and Z. I think you have a good product, and the environment now suits you. Even if it's not commercial funding, I think DFIs will also be very interested in you. Many state governments will be interested in you. I'm surprised no one has invested in you. I know many people are getting a DM already on my system. So you should organize yourself internally first, right? So when people come and knock on your door, you can say, this is what I'm looking for. These are my numbers. This is my audits. Just advice, right? So that way, people want to invest in opportunities, right? So make yourself an opportunity, right, Caleb?
Yeah, thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you very much for that. We have our papers on check.
Okay.
Yeah, we just recently opened the door, so we've been meeting people, but then really difficult to know the right person. But then we've been meeting people as a matter of fact. We reached out to a lot of persons that, and we are open, for.
Okay.
We are ready, and we are open for investment. Yeah.
Okay, I can help you with that. If you DM after this, if you have something you can send to me, I have a few people I can run it by as well. Promise not to leave you hanging. Promise, I know you are not quote unquote manufacturing anything, but what is your own sense? You are funding your customers via the 30%, I understand, but in your own sense, how are you also going to scale? You are doing, should I put it as trading? What is your own idea of scaling? What would that be? If you scale, what would that look at for you? Is it going to be a storefront, retail outlets out there? Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, my skill is going to be in form of retail outlet whereby offering these services, because I noticed that we have so many solar installers. Most of them don't actually know about how to install that, like quack. They've not gone through the basics. They just jump in from CCTV to solar installation. So I'm kind of looking for like a partnership whereby, let's say, all these bigger solar companies get installation. They need an installer, like a certified installer, to go do these services for them. Whereby I can come in there, let's say, for instance, as an installation, and they don't have like the staff strength to cover that thing. Because okay, promise, let's partner. This is the location. Can you cover this location for us? Go install.
Okay. I promise. Question for you: Are you trained? Are you certified? How did you become?
Yes, I'm trained. I'm certified.
Okay, so you have to. I don't know. I'm giving advice. You have to create your Twitter page around your business, right? I don't want to see promise. See Energy. Look at Energy's. Look at Energy's. Do you see their handle? There's Energy and there's Peter. So you want to do the same thing they've done. You want to also put on your picture. You are trained and certified. Put it out there. You paid for it, so put it out there. So you sort of credentialize yourself, because people want to deal with someone that is a corporate. If you have, like I said, if there's a guarantee. You saw actually saying they give warranty, and you saw the price difference with warranty. So you want to imitation the best form of flattery. If they've gone ahead of you, copy what they're doing well, package yourself. You're here in the space with them, and you can grow. Now you have a footprint. So I see people already asking you questions on Twitter. Take advantage, package yourself, and then the world is, or should we say, your oyster. Yeah. All right. So good job.
Thank you very much.
All right, guys. So we're going to close. I don't know if anyone has any closing comment thoughts before I shut down the space. We've got a few guys here and lots of them. This is not a normal space, guys, but it's a space for information. We are always looking at how your money, usually you can manage your money. And this is the biggest story if you want to ask me this week or even this year, because what it means is that if you are paying more for power, you have less money to invest. Any budget that you had, and this is maybe they are saying it's grade A, but like I said, this grade A will cut across the board, because if I'm a bakery and I'm paying grade A, I will pass the costs on to you. Dangote refinery might be out, right? And if Dangote refinery is out, that means diesel will come to Nigeria. That would more or less help the costing of diesel and power. Yes. So I don't know what the net effect will be if the cheaper diesel will kick off the expensive grade A. I'm not sure. But this is going to be a major change in your budget, in your spending, even in your wealth, right? So what you want to do is to find out how you can sort of, hedge against this. That's what we're doing today on this space. So let me just take a few questions. I think I've got two guys that want to speak. Let me get Temi. Let me see. Temi Olua, who is our sponsor? Temi is the guy. These are the guys from NG Nigeria. Temi, please go ahead and introduce yourself. I know you sponsored this space today. Thank you again for doing that. Yeah, normally we have, but thank you, sir. Please go ahead and also talk about briefly what you do.
Awesome. Thank you for the time. Hope you can hear me.
I can hear you. Yeah.
Thank you for using our product, Market Intelligence, for your market analytics and all of that analytics. We are so grateful for that. I'm really excited about this space because most of the guys spoke about something that will really save cost for people, and that's what I want to focus on. What they spoke about is the IoT tools that they all have to monitor what you use. So let me tell you what I think. Most Nigerians need to learn how to manage what we have. So if you have a 5K VA and you want it to last for 24 hours, you should put the exact load you put on it for that period. And that's why the IoT tools that most of the corporate organizations have are very important. So you are able to monitor what's on it, what consumption. I'll give an example. When I was living in a particular area in Nigeria and I was using solar, I was managing in such a way that we're able to use charge for it for like 6 hours and use for 24 hours. Basically because we power just the things that we need when we need it, because we know what the consumption is. Now, like the other guy that I've forgotten his name, when you put too much load on your product, right, it drowns it. And we will just, you have 5 ACs, you have 6 ACs, you have this. You don't need to use all of them at the same time. Which one is priority? I want one AC in the sitting room which is working now. If you're not in your room, you don't need to have your lights on, so that it extends the lifespan. Right? From the analytics bit, because you can see it from anywhere, you can call your children and say, look, you guys switch on this place, because it's just savings. If you blow it out, because remember you have to charge it and you blow it out, you have to learn how to use it, because the more you put on it, the more you would drain it out. It's like market analytics, where you have to learn to look at it every time, optimize. You get more long term, because if you use it too much, like you've gotten it because it's brand new, in 10 years will become 5 years, unfortunately, because of this. That's just my thought on the development that they are doing, the IoTs and the connection that they are doing on their side, which is, for me, very manufacturing. Everybody can manufacture, can bring in this, can become, but when it comes to developing tools that can help people manage and save money, the IoT bit and software bit is where I appreciate what they are all doing. They are really doing well.
I mean, these are entrepreneurs going into the ditches to manufacture power products. All of them, from the Peter to Caleb to Promise, all in that space. It's not a difficult place to be in, but they're doing it, So we have got to give them that. So thank you so much, Timmy. I appreciate you doing that, and also I appreciate you sponsoring the space. Also, please, can you talk about your own market analytics? What's happening this week, just in case people are tuning in? Are we going to make money this week?
Well, the thing about market analytics, I need to really investors to know, people make money and lose money every day. It depends on where you sit in the market, and that's why I tell people, brokers will send you reports, which is standard, right? But there are analytics that you need for action. When I say actionable reports, for example, people will talk about all share index in marketing. In stock market. All share index doesn't speak to the individual brands. It's just an overview, right? Things around the analytics we give is around top 5, top 10, right? It's good information, right? But how would you know which brand to invest in? How would you know which one is going up, which one is coming down? So there's thing about people saying, oh, there's pump and dump in stock market. If you have, I'll use money sites, right? If you have year to date on your dashboard, for example, you have week to date, you have month to date, you have year to date analytics. What that helps you to do is if you see week to date, you know who is growing. Do you understand? From Monday to Tuesday to Wednesday, you know this brand is going up and you can plug in at the right time. If you have month to date, you know your brand has been consistent for the last 1 month, right? And if you look here today, you see your brand has been consistent for a longer period. So that you won't have pumps to dump. Because what happens with the reports we get currently from maybe brokers or other people is they take top 5, right, top 10, and the lowest 5 and top 10. Now what happens is imagine a particular brand has plus 10 2 days. Right, you have plus 10 days, you have plus 10 today, you have another 10 the next day. That's 20% growth in 1 week. But as soon as you start dropping, you can start dropping by 2% for the next 30 days. Because you are 2%, you are in between lower and high, and you will not appear in any of the reports of the brokers. Now, what that does for you is you would have thought you were gaining 20%, but by the time you do 1 month of 2% loss, you have 40% loss. Do you understand? So it makes sense for businesses to understand where to stand by using proper analytics reports to do whatever they're doing. And it's good that we have information. And I need to put it out there. There's a lot of information already on NGX. NGX gives you, in fact, NGX Nigeria is the place where they are the, how would I call it? They give you as much information as possible. But there's a difference between information and insight. And that's the thing with accounting. When you say sales and you say profit, there are two different things. Sales is just vanity, but profit tells you exactly what the business is doing and how you can grow. So there are two different. So we provide actionable data for business. I think Mr. Kalu always pop in and say, Temi, can you guys add this to it? Can you add this to it? And we take feedback from the market to build the insights, right? And I'm very happy that lately the CBN has said businesses, banks to go and raise money. There is no bank that can raise money without data, and I can tell you for free. No bank can raise money without doing a machine learning, and I'll tell you why that is so. The reason is this: every investor wants to know the volatility of your currency before they can invest in your business. They want to know, so if I put money here, like what happened to us recently, over the last 10 years, over the last 16 years, over the last 25 years, what is the percentage change in currency in 4 years cycle? So that I know if I have another 8 years, the currency will change by 2%, will lose value by 2% or by 5% year. So I know that in the next 8 years, these people's currency, right, will lose 10% maximum. Now, what we have recently is just outliers. They are not our seasonality. You need to know seasonality, you need to know patterns, you need to know trends. And every issuer needs to have that understanding. Because if you're an issuer and you don't have those insights, the investors will find out. And they will tell you, look, based on this information, I can't invest now because the volatility in your country is this and this and this. And you tell them, no, our seasonality is this. We had outliers at this point and at this point, but this is what our maximum change loss will be. So over the next 5 years, 10 years thereabouts, we won't lose more than another 10%, except the variables that we have in the system changes.
I mean, I got you.
I also advise CFOs that, look, you need to make sure that your brand uses analytics to keep your share price up, because the kind of share price you have is what will determine the type of investors you have. And I'll tell you why. If your share price keeps going up and comes down a lot, you attract short sellers. And what that means is that short sellers, what that means is for short selling, if your share price goes up to 20, they buy at 16. When it gets to 20, they sell, because they know it will come back to 12, and they'll buy again at a lower price.
Gotcha.
So you should always attract short sellers based on the way your profile, your stock is. But if you're able to keep it properly, you can't short your business, because if your business keeps going up and up and up, when you buy at 15, when are you going to sell? Because it's at 20, it goes to 22. You're never going to be able to sell, because if you sell it at 15, the next time you want to buy, we are 22.
Gotcha.
So you get a 7 naira loss. So that will attract, if you have a sustainable way of managing that will attract investors with you for a long time. And like you can't do the insight you said to me, stock market is where wealth is built. Real estate, all of them don't. For people in Nigeria, bonds did like 19.7% in 10 years. Stock market did 200%. 202%. ASI about 10 years. Nigeria's ASI about 2 years in 10 years is 202%. Bond is 19.7%. But you add 100% to it, which is your initial capital. Do you understand? So that gives it 119%. Comparing that to two. So if we're going to build long-term wealth, we need to play the stock market. But you need to know that the insight you are getting to plan is more important than just data.
Gotcha. So, I got you. Yeah, good point. Good point. I mean, yeah. I don't want to crowd out Peter and the rest of the guys that have been here with us. So guys. So let me just Peter promised. Let me just take the last guy. I think he has been here for a while, and let you guys go for the day. I appreciate you guys real quick. Sergio Classic Brand, real quick at the last guy because you've just been waiting. Sergio, do you have a quick comments before we shut down the space? Sergio Classic. All right, Sergio, thanks for requesting. Peter, Promise, and Caleb, I appreciate you guys for coming. Short notice, very short notice for coming and for sharing with the community what we can do. The key point for me that I picked up is that this product you guys have is grid neutral. That's a new word for me, meaning that if I use them correctly, it's almost at the same cost as the grid. So I make an initial payment, but the initial payment pays me back, and I'm able to control how I can use my power. So that's savings for me. If I'm not at home, I switch it off. Maybe if we start feeding tariffs later in Nigeria, I could make money from it. For now, I can control that cost as long as I do the initial capital outlay. It's a huge capital outlay, but you guys have said that, listen, we can get the capital, or we can get a loan from banks. Peter has been kind enough to share those banks with us, same thing we promise. So it's not all cash deal. I can finance that offer. And I also been impressed that we are making these things locally. People also share that we can also even import these things at zero, maybe lower tariff, so that way the cost can come down. Our whole goal is to bring down the cost so that the household can have more money to consume. The issue in Nigeria is the lack of consumption. That's why companies are not investing or hiring people, because nobody is consuming. And this tariffs, PMS, dollar, all have to removing funds from the household that they cannot consume. So again, thanks guys for coming here. We're gonna shut the space down, guys, till next week. Peter, do you have any last your last comment, Peter, Promise, and Caleb, and then we'll close for the day. We'll be here for an hour, 30 minutes. Peter, any last words? I think I got Peter. Let's get Promise. Peter, how'd you get fixed on mic? Promise, any last words from you before we go?
Yes, I just want to appreciate once again for bringing you on to space. What I was after today is I want we Nigerians, we should actually know how to manage our energy. That's the main thing. Manage energy. Which actually makes this grid tariff go high is when we consume more on the grid, then we buy more. Okay. When we know how to manage energy efficiency, we buy less. Same to be solar. You manage energy efficiency, then your system lasts longer, more than the specified time that is there. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. Caleb, any quick closing words from you before I come back to Peter?
Yeah, so thank you very much for this wonderful opportunity, and also thank you for Promise for what you said. And just to add to that, what we have built at ISCO, our mobile app actually helps you to manage this energy conveniently without stressing your head or your brain. So our mobile app can actually tell you how much energy your home is consuming, and then you can also inform the app that, okay, you don't want to consume 20 kilowatt hour anymore. You want to consume about 5 kilowatt hour to enable you last for as long as you want, 20 hours, 48 hours, as much as you want. Our mobile app is going to also tell you exactly how much energy you should be consuming at a particular time. And the moment you exceed that energy threshold, let's say by just putting on a 10 watt light bulb, the system immediately gives you a real-time notification that you have exceeded your energy threshold and you should come down on your energy threshold immediately. You can set the system to shut off immediately However, it is completely AI enabled and it gives you the freedom that you need to manage your energy over time.
Excellent. Thanks for that, Caleb. Appreciate you clarifying that for us as well. Peter, how are you, sir? Thanks for hanging in there. Last words.
Right. Thank you. So I would just say that thank you again for giving us this opportunity to speak here and to market our products. For anyone who is interested in Energy's products, please, our Twitter handle is on this call, and the name of the company is Energy, spelled ARNERGY. You can go see our website or check us out on social media, and then we're happy to meet your energy needs. For people who already have solar, who may want to buy new batteries or add more batteries to their existing systems, we have a shop on our website where you can just buy your batteries, and these batteries come with product warranties, and then you can be sure that Energy will be around. The business has been around for 10 years. We will definitely be around for 10 years and longer to continue to support our products in this market. So please go to our shops and buy our products. And also, if you want a fully integrated solution, you can buy it with us. Also, our solutions are scalable. You can start at 5 and go up to 20, 40 kilowatts. And we'll continue to support you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, guys. Hey, all good things will come to an end. We're going to wind down. Let me just make this last point. So if you are doing power in Nigeria, you have a solution that will reduce costs for the consumer, please DM me. I can share that for the on my space or my timeline at no cost to you. So folks have that avenue, right? And then we can get these things at a cheaper cost. Thanks for all my guests. Thank you all for listening. I hope you guys have a great start of your week, and Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday, Thursday and Friday turn out to be excellent for you guys. On that note, guys, I'll see you guys next week. Have a good day and bye.